Good morning, Raptor. Lexi out here. It's Tuesday, and we're doing a Tuesday trivia. It's kind of classic Jurassic, but it's not the old style of classic Jurassic Tuesday trivia that we do on the Raptor Freak channel. It's a little bit not the same, but we're going to be going classic. That's for sure today. Of course, I said the other day, if you were listening, if you've read this book, Prehistoric by Alex Wong, you're going to do very well on our trivia today, on Tuesday today. Yeah, if you know this book, if you've read this book like Monique Lawrence has, you're going to be in good shape. But if you haven't, well, you may be at a disadvantage. The other thing I would also say is if you know your early Raptors history, you might be okay. So, once again, I'm going to ask everybody for trivia today. Please do not Google or look anything up. We're going to make a real skill of what we know up here without looking it up. And I will say, if there's any clue that's taking a long time, I will give more clues to help you guys get to it. Like, say, a clue about something that has something to do with their name that's similar, so that it'll help you guys get there more easily. But I really do want you guys to try and do this off the top of your head. Now, the other thing I'm trying to do right now is I have put slow mode on, and I normally don't do that. So watch how you write your comments today, because you write comments, you'll freeze for 30 seconds. And it's really because I don't want people to spam answers. I really don't. Like, I want you guys to take one answer, and then somebody else gets an answer, and it's a little bit more spread out. So we're going to try it this time with the slow mode. So be conscious of this, guys, that you may need to shoot your shot in the right spot and not like go off and just write witty comments here and there, because you may not be able to answer all of a sudden. So let's take this trivia seriously. Let's go off the top of our heads and shoot your shot full ass. Do not half-ass me, because in some ways you won't be able to correct your answer. So really, really think about what you're sending when you send in your answer at that time, because corrections will not be easy to get back in because of the 30 seconds. I may shorten it. We're just trying it out for today, because I do want to try and make this trivia evolve over time with David, and I have talked about some of these changes. So that's what I'm saying right here. Prehistoric, y'all buy it. Alex Wong's book is amazing. That's what I'll say. All right. And you know what else I found recently? This is pretty cool, eh? I found my old NBA Live 95 that we were talking about the other day. I think this is Live 96, actually. Super Nintendo cartridge. This is exactly what we were talking about the other day, Mike. Logical Raptors fanatic, David Saborin, the NBA Live. Yeah, I have my cartridge still. Y'all have a Super Nintendo? Let's play. That's right. That's right. We got the old Super NBA Live up there in the corner. All right, so let's see what's up with you guys this morning. We'll start the trivia right away. Trevor's saying, good morning, family. Funny things about getting older, your eyesight start getting weaker, but your ability to see through people gets much better. Wow, that's deep. Yesterday, on my birthday, I got new reading glasses, and they actually really help. I started doing the trivia last night wearing the eyeglasses, the reading glasses, and they helped a lot. So I got my first pair of glasses on my 49th birthday yesterday. And it's really just kind of for reading. They're reading glasses you can buy just at the drugstore. It's just they're generic, and they work. So it's helping me be able to see and read again. So I appreciate getting reading glasses for my birthday yesterday. I guess I really am getting old. I guess I really am. Yeah. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Tuesday. Trevor, great words of wisdom. Yeah. I mean, you get played a couple times by different people. You have certain things happen. Well, you get smarter to it. That's for sure. You can see it coming a mile away. That's what I'm saying. Trevor's saying good morning to Fiercey also. Ahmed's here, our champion. His name is right there. 2024 Raptor Freak champion. This current champion is Ahmed Gaming 2K, holding it down for us over in Israel, guys. Good morning, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. We are hoping you're doing well also, champ. And he's ready to play. I know Ahmed comes here to play. As I said, Ahmed, we're still trying to do it off the top of our heads, and we're also going to try and have a time limit on you get to answer every 30 seconds. So no over spamming in some ways, because I understand you're very fast typer, and you can write in stuff really fast. So you can get like 5 answers in before somebody gets 1 answer in. So we'll see how this works. If it doesn't work that well, I'll take it back, or maybe even lessen the time interval if 30 seconds is too long. So we'll see. Kaz is here. Good to see you, Kaz. Hey, N. Hey, man. How you doing, Kaz? Always good to see you check in the last couple of days. Fiercely saying my eyesight is significantly decreased due to working from home through the pandemic. But as I've grown older and wiser, I see through BS and fake people. There you go. MJ saying this, holding it down, saying it right. There you go. Seymour saying good luck to all. He's here on time. Seymour is here ready to play. I love it. And Kareem's saying, no Googling. And he's going to say, if y'all know this stuff, y'all, how do you know this? You don't know this? How do you know this? He's going to be really shocked to see how much people know. Let's see. Seymour saying seagull mode off. Whoa, we'll see. There, you can still seagull if you haven't shot your shot and you're still open with the 30-second lockout. There you go. David's saying that's so sick that you found that game live 95. Yeah, David. Seriously, we got to get a Super Nintendo and play this. You and me, just for fun sometime, because it'd be fun. I think the cartridge is still good. I just got to find a working Super Nintendo. That's right. Yeah, Lex is Lex. I'm a nerd. I know. I got that video game there going on, Fiercey. And David's saying just put slow mode on Amit. No, we want to give everybody a fair chance. And that's part of the reason why we have the slow mode on everybody. That's right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Fiercey saying, I want to laugh at David's comment, but don't want to be restricted. Screw it. I'm replying. All right. Well, I'm going to say this is about the book. In some ways, it's not really about the book. It's information. In some ways, I want to warn you guys and say to Alex Wong right away, I'm not going to tell a whole bunch of details about your book so people won't want to buy it. This is basically just common knowledge about the Raptors' first year of the season. And in some ways, there are some questions that are easier to get because if you read that book. But once again, I'm not trying to tell everything was in the book on Alex Wong so that you don't want to buy his book. You should buy his book. There's so many great details in there. And there's no way I could get across everything that's in this great, fantastic book called Prehistoric by Alex Wong. So listen, y'all buy it. But some of the questions are based on stuff that's from this book. But it's just common knowledge and stuff that you guys should know if you're a Raptors historian. That's right. David's laughing. And Seymour's saying, blow in the cartridge game. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Like, I don't know. How do those look, man? They look pretty good to me. Doesn't look too dusty in there. That's right. Amit Gaming, this is an artifact of the past. That's right. This is Super Nintendo game, and this is about 30 years old almost now. 30 years old. This game came out the year before the Raptors. I don't even think the Raptors are in this game, guys. This game came out before the Raptors existed. So I don't know if you can play as the Raptors on this cartridge. Maybe you can. Maybe you can play as the team we're going to talk about today. That's right. All right. Well, nobody's in there. 30 seconds are up. Y'all are ready. Let's start this classic Jurassic, not really, trivia right now. There's going to be 17 questions. We're doing it the old school way. There's just one answer, no clues. And we want to see who's going to get what. David, thank you for scoring today. I think if you could put the score in underneath the number on the side where who gets it and the amount, I'll be able to see what you do. And then you can put over the scores on the spreadsheet part where you have everybody's name. That probably is the best way to do it. All right. So question number one, guys, y'all be ready. Type full ass. Do not give me half their name. I need you to write in their full name, and spelling could count. David could be a stickler. So if it's between two people and the person spells it more correctly, that person may get it. It's all up to David. He's the judge. I wrote the questions today, but David is absolutely in charge of scoring and adjudicating this game as far as who he thinks gets the points. All right, so here we go. The first question today is, all right, this is a fantastic question, and this surprised me. This was something I kind of knew. I remember from a long time ago, but I had forgotten, and Alex Wong's book reminded me this. All right, guys, what Hall of Famer was high on the Raptors list initially and to get and inquire in the expansion draft in the beginning? They wanted to get this player. This player was going to be the cornerstone. This player was going to be the tone for our team at the very, very beginning. But the team that had them did end up protecting them. This player was supposedly going to be leaving their team in the summer, but the team that kept him decided that they could get him in a trade value and they could get something for him. So they did not leave him unprotected in the expansion draft. But this is the player that Isaiah wanted. This is the player that he was going to build the Toronto Raptors around in the very, very beginning. He is a Hall of Famer currently. So I want to see who y'all are putting in. Seymour's put in Alonzo Mourning. That is not right. That is not who it is. Fiercey saying LeBron James. Well, was LeBron around in 95? No, he wasn't, Fiercey. It wasn't him. Kareem's saying Scottie Pippen. That is the closest answer so far. That is the best answer so far. Yeah. So Scottie Pippen is the best answer so far, but that is not correct. That is not the correct answer. So let's see if somebody can think about it. Amit's Gaming BJ Armstrong. Well, that is who they ended up taking in the first pick in the expansion draft. He was left unprotected by the Bulls. and they did select him, but BJ did not want to come here at that point in his career. So he arranged with Isaiah Thomas to get traded to the Golden State Warriors before the season started. But yeah, it's not BJ Armstrong. That's the guess of who we did pick. No, this player was who we wanted. And we were hoping the team that he was on was going to leave him unprotected, but they decided not to at the last minute. And we would have taken him. And he would have been a Raptor in our first year, in our first season. This is an amazing story. When y'all hear who the person is, y'all are going to go crazy. Monique's here. Good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Good morning to you, Mo. You could do well in this trivia today, Mo, because you read it, the book. Kareem's saying Joe Dumars. That's a very excellent guess. I see that you've used the 30 seconds, and you know what? You're getting even closer. I'm going to say that right now, Kareem. You're getting even closer. We got to think about who's Hall of Fame level. Amit's saying John Sally. Well, John Sally was on the team, Amit, and he did play on the Raptors as an original Raptor, and he was drafted in the expansion draft. Fiercey is going to get it, guys. The original prototype Raptor that Isaiah Thomas wanted to acquire in the expansion draft was Dennis Rodman, guys. Dennis Rodman had been feuding with Bob Hill, the coach of the Spurs, before Greg Popovich, and he had told Brendan Malone, the coach of the Raptors, that he was unhappy there, and he had told Isaiah, and him and Isaiah were like, well, we're going to get you from the Spurs when in the expansion draft if they leave you unprotected. The Spurs thought about it, and they said Dennis Rodman has inherent value, and we cannot leave him unprotected in this draft, and we need to keep him and trade him instead. And that's what they did. They traded him to the Bulls, and they got Will Perdue for him. So that's a little history lesson right there. Dennis Rodman was the initial target and the person that Isaiah wanted to rebuild our franchise around. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that cool as hell? 150 points from David given to Fiercey for that one. There you go. Andrew saying, good morning, y'all. Only 40 days until preseason in Raptors basketball. Woohoo, Andrew. Music to my ears. 40 days? That's just like a month and 10 days. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Joe Dumars clue gave it away. There you go. See, we worked towards it, and Fiercey Logical figured it out. John Sally, of course, was the closest answer, being very much the backcourt, the backup players off the bench for the bad boys, Rodman and Sally. But very, very good guess there. Yeah. Seymour saying, I had no clue. That's crazy. Rodman Raptor jerseys would be hard, too. Man, just think about if we had Dennis in our first year as the Raptors. Just imagine the tone that we would have set, because this is the truth. Isaiah, John Batove Jr., Brendan Malone, they wanted to be the new bad boys. The Raptors were very much built in the ideas. I mean, Isaiah was our president. Hello, he was the captain of the bad boys. So this very much was trying to be mimicked up here. And Dennis was in our sights initially, and he was the player that that Isaiah wanted to build the team around. That's no lie right there. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that cool? All right, there's your first question, y'all. That's how it's going to be in some ways, how it just went right now. I really like how y'all work towards it right there. Really, really good stuff. All right, let's go. The second question is, guys, where did the Toronto Raptors hold their first ever training camp? The first place they ever held a training camp. Now, we know they're going to Montreal this year, Bell Center. They were out in Victoria, British Columbia with Tommy Dookie a couple seasons ago. Where did they hold their training camp before their first ever season in the NBA? Where was it? I want the arena, guys. If you give me the arena, that'd be good. Let's see. Fiercey saying, honestly, Rodman would have been the perfect corner store, and Isaiah already had a relationship with him. Yeah, it would have been fun. I'm not saying Vancouver. No, I will take the city, but I do want the arena also. So points for the arena and the city if you can get it. Bryce is saying Ontario. That's too general, Bryce. That's like saying Kentucky, and it could mean Louisville or Frankfurt or Lexington. So you got to say the city. Seymour's saying Halifax. That's not correct either. We're talking about where did they hold their first ever training camp, guys? Edmonton? Edmonton's not right either. Andrew's saying just got back from Massachusetts yesterday. The Hall of Fame was a great experience. Awesome. So, Andrew, you probably saw the Nab Bhatia part of the exhibits and stuff. That's very, very cool. Fiercey thinks it's Edmonton and Rogers Place. That's not right. It's not Rogers Place. It's not Vancouver, guys. If you give me the city, I'll say that it's right, and then you can tell me the arena after that. Smooth's going to get it. He's in there with it. Right, exactly. It was Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, where they held the first ever Raptors training camp at Copps Coliseum. So Smooth's got both the answers in there. And I that is the right answer. Good job by Smooth Brown Man getting Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And it was Cops Coliseum. There you go, guys. That is where we had our first training camp ever. Of course, we weren't allowed in the Maple Leaf Gardens because the Leafs were scared of us and they didn't want us to play in their arena. This is the whole reason why we had to play at the Sky Dome. The Leafs were scared of us. The NHL was scared of us, and they wanted to hurt us and not make it easy for us to be successful. Or we would have played at the Maple Leaf Gardens in our first year instead of the fucking Sky Dome bullshit. So I'll say that. Yeah. So you're right, Smooth. It is exactly right. They had their first training camp at Cops Coliseum in Hamilton, Ontario. That is exactly right. Smooth got it. That's right. Yeah, he answered it like he was there. Well, we got to remember, Smooth's an old head who knows his 90s basketball. He may have remembered this from there. Give him points for both answers, David, because I was going to give a point for both answers. So you can give him the 100 for Hamilton and give him some more for getting Cops, because that was another one. Yeah. That's true about the Maple Leaf Gardens. Yeah. They wouldn't let us play in the Maple Leaf Gardens in the beginning because it's like hockey was scared of us. They really were. Yeah. Amit saying, I remember it too. Good times. All right, 50 each. So he's saying 100 altogether, 50 for each answer. All right, David, thank you for the adjudication. Let's keep going, y'all. Question number 3. All right, Alex Wong wrote this beautiful book, Prehistoric, guys. In the book, he talks about the team he rooted for before the Toronto Raptors. Can y'all tell me which NBA team Alex Wong was a big fan of? And give me the city and the name. Don't half-ass me. What team was Alex Wong a fan of before the Raptors? Amit's going to say Detroit Pistons. That is not right, but that is a good guess, because a lot of people that were fans of the Raptors were Pistons fans before. Yeah, let's see. Seymour saying Detroit Pistons also. That's not right. Mo's saying this is a fast one. I'm listening today. All right, Mo. Infamous is going to get it, guys. It is the Magic. Alex Wong was an Orlando Magic fan, much like myself, before he was a Raptors fan. He was a big fan of Dennis Scott, 3D, who was the three-point shooter for the Magic at that time. Of course, he watched Shaq and Penny in those years before the Raptors came around in 95. Just like this guy. I was the same. I was a Magic fan before I was a Raptors fan also. So that is infamous getting that one, I believe. Let me see. Anybody else said that? Mo put the Orlando in also. Yeah, infamous, Magic, Orlando. He doesn't have in the right order, but I don't care. He's got the 2 words in there right. Washington Wizards, no. Bulls, no. Knicks, no. Infamous got it. That's right. Miami Heat, no. Sorry, Isaac. No Hawks, no Pacers. But Mo got it too. If you want to give a little bit to Mo also, because she wrote it in, David, you could give I would give points to Mo if she got it too, even if she's behind. So if you want to give Monique some points for that, Mo's getting 50 for it too. So Infamous gets 100. Mo's getting 50 for Orlando. Yeah, and Fiercely saying if it was the Celtics, you wouldn't ask. That's right. Kareem saying he was an Orlando Magic fan for 2 years. Well, actually, the Magic came in 89, and the Raptors started in 95. So Alex and I were both fans of the Magic for 6 years, actually, guys. 6 years. Yeah, you want to dunk for Fiercey? All right, we'll do that, Seymour. Just a little break in the action here real quick. We'll give Fiercey a dunk real quick. Yeah, 181 is Fiercey's dunk total, eye candy. All right, let's see. The next question is, here we go. All right, this is an interesting one. Who said that Oliver Miller was a UFO, an unidentified fat object? Who said that Oliver Miller was a UFO, an unidentified fat object? Who said that? Who said that Oliver Miller was a UFO? An unidentified fat object. Bryce is laughing about this. Yeah. Infamous coming with the heat. Yes, of course, it's our man Charles Barkley, who called him the unidentified fat object. Look at Infamous showing up. Akeem Olajuwon didn't say that. No, Gilbert Arenas didn't either. It was Barkley. And, this is the crazy thing. Now, listen, I want to talk about Oliver Miller for a second here. Oliver Miller is the heaviest player to ever play in the history of the NBA. And you know what? He got a lot of grief for it. But you know what? He was good when he was that fat. It didn't matter that he was that fat. They always hounded him to get skinnier, but he was good no matter what. He could be fat as hell and he'd still be agile and up and down the court and no problems. In some ways, Oliver Miller took a lot of fat shaming that was not fair. And at that time, people weren't woke enough to understand it's wrong to put people down like this. And who the hell was Charles to say this? Seriously. because he had the same kind of thing happening to him when he was coming in the league also, because he had weight problems also. So Charles, you're calling the kettle black. The pot's calling the kettle black here. Seriously. So when you were calling him unidentified fat object, in some ways you were just hurting yourself, because that was just all the bullying that was bullying yourself too. So yeah, that's what I'll say about that. It was Barkley. And Infamous is on a little streak right now. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You thought it was Robert Tractor Trailer was the heaviest player to ever play in the league? No, it's Oliver Miller is the heaviest player. We have the shortest player to ever play in the league, Muggsy Bogues. And we've had the heaviest player ever to play in the league play for the Raptors. And that is Oliver Miller. The second heaviest player to ever play in the NBA is Simbular, guys. Simbular, Canadian, Indian. He is the second heaviest ever. The first heaviest is Oliver Miller. Oliver Miller got close to 400. He was like 390 at one point, guys. He was like 390 pounds playing in the skill. He was very skilled. And that's what he kept saying. He's like, y'all keep telling me to lose weight. It's not like I'm not scoring baskets for y'all. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah. Amit saying, I got to go eat my pasta. I'll be trying to answer from my iPhone. All right. Good luck, Amit. And yeah, you eat that pasta, you could get like Oliver and get bigger. And you get taller and bigger, because if you're big, you can play. Just ask Oliver Miller. All right, let's keep going. This is fun so far today. All right. This is the next question, guys. Where did the Toronto Raptors play their first ever preseason game in their history? Where did they play their first ever preseason game in their history? Yeah. You didn't know Simbular was Canadian, Andrew? Yeah. He's from the GTA. I think he's from Brampton, actually, somewhere around there. Yeah. Halifax is right. Amit Gaming is going to get this one. The first ever preseason game in Raptors history was played in Halifax, Nova Scotia, guys. That is where we played our first ever preseason game. So Amit Gaming, the champ, getting on the board with this one. Yeah, Maple Leaf Gardens isn't right. New York isn't right either. It was in Halifax. We should started on the very far coast. We started right over there. In some ways, it was like we're coming in to Canada from the Maritimes, and we're going to hit that. And the second game was played in Fredericton, guys. They went from Halifax to Fredericton. They jumped around over there and played a lot of the preseason to get that part of Canada introduced, to get some good fans. And you know what? It took. There were some people that went to that first ever Halifax game, and they were fans for the rest of. They're still fans to this day. So it was a really powerful thing to bring the Raptors to Halifax first thing and get some fans on the Maritimes right away. Yeah, that's it. 3 points for Amit. David, you got to do better than that. Come on. You got to give him a bit more than that. Come on. That's not right. The youngster got this one, and I'm proud of him for getting it. And in some ways, that's very impressive that Amit got a question that was like twice his age. It's like Amit's 15, and this is the 30th season. So this is like, this guy showed up halfway through the Raptors. He's naming where they had their first preseason game. That's crazy, David. Come on now. Come on now. I'm gonna get Mo to rule on this one. Mo, you can't do that. Yeah, that's your first one today, is not mistaken. Yeah, this is the first answer he's gotten today. David, I'm going to file a complaint on this answer adjudication. And I would like to ask for at least 25 points for Ahmed on this one. Please. And if we have a dispute, I'll let Mo decide. But I'm just saying, that's not right. You can't just give him 3, man. 3 points. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I'll let David mull this over. He said, I was joking. I guess it didn't go through. 50 points. Okay, 50 points. He was joking. All right. He was just joking. Oh, yeah, there's the 50 right there. He says 50 on it. All right. He can see it. All right, good stuff. Hilarious stuff. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. All right, guys. When the Raptors were playing playing their first game ever in the Sky Dome, their first regular season game ever against the New Jersey Nets, which they won. Who was playing in a concert at the Maple Leaf Gardens that night? Who was playing in a concert at the Maple Leaf Gardens the night the Raptors played their very first ever NBA regular season game at Sky Dome against the Nets? Now, you guys are just going to have to take stabs in the dark, because I don't know if you guys are going to just know this. I'll give some clues as we go along. But who do you think was playing in concert at the Maple Leaf Gardens the night that we started our year at the Sky Dome and that bullshit? Seymour's saying Mobb Deep. No, not Mobb Deep. And no, not Snoop Dogg, Amit. Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, Backstreet Boys. No, you guys have not hit the right genre yet. None of this stuff is from the right genre of music at all at this point. Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi is not right. I like that you wrote Bon Jove and then she wrote Bon Jovi right underneath it. No, still not the right genre of music. Nobody's hitting the right genre. I'll say that at least. It's not hip hop. It's not rock and roll. And it's not Backstreet's Back. All right. No, it's not that either. R. Kelly is not right, Trevor. I like that we're just getting general music artists from around 95. We have to think about in the year too and how old it is and stuff. So y'all still don't have the correct genre. Shania Twain is the right genre, but it is not the right artist, Isaac Campbell. But he has got the right genre of music finally. Janet Jackson's not right. Shania Twain is not right. So yeah, the right music here. You know, let's see. Garth Brooks. There you go. Isaac coming in with Garth Brooks. That's not exactly right either. No, that's not right. But that's closer. As David said, that's closer. Getting closer. You know what I'll do? I'll give you all a clue real quick. I have faith that you'll get this. Yeah, I have faith. Now, that's not exactly who it is, but I'll say I'll have faith that you'll get this. And Amit says, I don't know any singers, especially country singers, maybe. Kenny Rogers, going way back. I love that. It's not Kenny Rogers. Stargate saying Clint Black. That's maybe the closest guess so far. That's pretty damn good. I have faith in you guys that you'll get this. Yeah. Yeah, if that means anything, but it's not her. Let's just put it that way. That's who has faith. This person has faith. Yeah, George Michael. I want your sex. No. Keith Urban. No, it's not Keith Urban. He's with Nicole Kidman. Faith Hill is the right person I'm making the joke about, but who has faith? It's not Faith. Who has faith, Isaac? That's what I'll ask you. That will get you the answer right there. Yeah, who has the faith? Not George Michael, because you gotta have faith, faith. I gotta have faith. No. Think about that. That's a roundabout clue right there. Yeah, David's saying, I'm surprised this one's tough. Interesting. Yeah, Faith Evans. No, Isaac got it finally. It is the husband of Faith Hill. Tim McGraw was playing at the Maple Leaf Gardens the night the Raptors played their first ever game at the Sky Dome. So yeah, bam, Isaac getting 100 points. David really excited that you got that one, Isaac, coming around with that. Tim McGraw is the right answer. Good job, Isaac Campbell. Yeah, it took a little bit to get there. But yeah, good job. I'm impressed. I'm sure David is too. That's why you got 100. All right, let's keep going, guys. Good stuff. All right, guys, here's the next question. Who was the genius who correctly thought that the Toronto Raptors should be on his channel locally in the city, since the NBA was young and fresh, just like his station? In the beginning, the Raptors were actually on a certain channel in downtown Toronto, and it was a fantastic pairing. In fact, it was a very big part of why the Raptors got off to a very good success at the beginning. Who is the person, the genius, who decided that, yes, I want the Raptors broadcast locally in Toronto on my channel? Who is that person? I want the person. I don't want the channel. You can name the channel and figure out who it is from there, but you got to know your Toronto history on this one. YTV is not the channel. That is not the channel the Raptors used to be on in the very beginning. You've got to think about this, old heads. What channel was broadcasting the Raptors locally in downtown Toronto in the very beginning? That will give you all the answers you need right there. Rod Black is the broadcaster, and he was on actually the CBC nationwide broadcast. He was not on the broadcast for this channel. There we go. Smooth came in with the fire, and he got it exactly right. The Raptors used to be broadcast on City TV, guys, in downtown Toronto. City TV everywhere. And the guy who put him there was Moses Zeimner, the great genius that made up much music in the City TV building and all that fun that used to happen around that building before Bell bought it and fucking made it a shell, hollowless corporate shell of what it was. Yeah. City TV, Moses Zeimner. There you go. Yeah, that's the right answer. They were on City TV everywhere. The Voice, Mark Daly. You remember that stuff? Come on now. Speaker's Corner, the good fun we used to have on the streets. Yeah. And the person who was doing the call on that channel was John Saunders. John Saunders worked for the local TV programming, and up in Barrie, it was on the new VR. The new VR broadcasted, and that was the equivalent of City TV for the Barrie market. So yeah, locally in the first year, we were on City TV everywhere. That's right. 100 points for Smooth. Smooth showing his old school knowledge and understanding and remembering that. City TV and Moses Zeimner. That's right. This is all in the book. They talk about how that deal was brought about. And Moses Zeimner was very smart to think about, yeah, you know what? This totally goes with my channel. My channel is fresh and hip and new and kind of got good things going on. And well, the Raptors are the exact same thing. It was a marriage made in heaven. It really was. And that really did help the Raptors in popularity immediately, being on City TV in the city. Yeah. All right, let's keep going, guys. What original Toronto Raptors player threw an infamous New Year's party near Lake Ontario in a warehouse where the police had to come? And it was a total headache for the Raptors PR team afterwards. Which one of the original Raptors rented a warehouse downtown near the lake, and they threw a huge party, and people like Halle Berry and R. Kelly were there. They were like, everybody was at this thing, and they got in a lot of trouble because the police came because it was rowdy. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's say Damon Stoudemire first. Nope, that's not who. Charles Oakley was not original Raptor. Vince Carter is not right. Kareem Thomas got it, though. It is John Sally. John Spider Sally was known for his notorious New Year's Eve parties. He had thrown one in Miami the year before when he was on the Heat, and the police came to that one also. And he got in big trouble for the 1 year before in '94 when he was on the Miami Heat. Well, he came to Toronto and he threw one up here. And because John Sally knows everybody in Hollywood, people like Samuel L. Jackson, Halle Berry, and all these people were at that party, and it was off the chain. And they had like so many NBA players even showed up too. Like the players that were playing against us around that time, they all showed up too. So yeah, this is that's the right answer. It was John Spider Sally that threw this party. Yeah. And Kareem's saying he remembers hearing about it. This is what I'm telling you. This is why I didn't want y'all to Google, because the old heads will remember. And Kareem remembers the story from when this happened. There you go. AC Earl's not right, Isaac. It was John Sally. That's right. John Sally had all the connections. That's right. He was on TV. Wasn't he? He was on doing different TV shows and stuff. Good job, Kareem. All right, guys, here's the next question. What Toronto restaurant is strongly linked with John Batove Jr.'s life? What Toronto restaurant is strongly linked with John Batove Jr.'s life? John Batove Jr. was the original ownership group that brought the Raptors into life. But there's this particular restaurant in downtown Toronto that's very much a big part of his life. And when the Raptors won their championship, he was sitting in that restaurant, and he had bittersweet feelings about when they won the championship, because it was his baby. He started, but he was forced out after the first year. The Keg is not right. Pizza is not right. You guys are naming chains. This is a very specific one location restaurant, just so y'all know. And this is a restaurant that he owned, and that he still had involvement in, I think, right up until, well, it's not there anymore. I don't think. I think it's gone, sadly, but it may not. It may still be there. I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure if it's still there. But yeah, this is a place where I've gone to many times. I spent some time there during my time at Second City. So yeah, it's a very important restaurant in downtown Toronto for a couple different reasons. And yeah, when the Raptors won their championship in 2019, that's where the original owner of the Raptors was sitting and watching them win. And then he came out into the streets and saw everybody out in the streets going crazy. And he was very happy, but also sad, because in some ways he saw the fruition of his dream to get a championship in Toronto, but he got forced out so early. He had bittersweet feelings about it. So yeah, the Keg and Pizza aren't right. Now I'll say this location had its address changed to a certain address on Blue Jays Way because of a certain thing about this place. And I don't want to give it totally away. This will give it away if I do too much. But yeah, I guess I just told you it's on the street Blue Jays Way. If you know where that is in Toronto, you may be able to figure out what this is. So I will also say that John Batove Jr. used to own the Hard Rock Cafe at the Sky Dome, if y'all didn't know that. And I thought that might be one of the answers y'all give, but you've stopped answering because nobody knows. I guess I got to keep giving clues. No Googling, guys. How about this? The person that this place is named after, I met outside of that restaurant before he went into the signature revolving door. And I said, "Hey, it's you." And he said, "That's what they call me." And I was like, yeah, wow. I just met one of the most important people in Canadian history. Yeah. All right. Smooth's going to put in Wayne Gretzky's. And that's exactly right. The restaurant is Gretzky's. It's at 99 Blue Jays Way. That is the restaurant that John Batove Jr. opened up with Wayne Gretzky, and he was an owner of. And I think they tore it down in the last couple of years because they're building a condo at that corner, but I'm not totally sure. So yeah, Gretzky's is right. Yeah, that was a tough one. 150 points to Smooth because it took a little bit of extraction to get that answer. Yeah, Gretzky's is where it was right below Second City. And when I went down for a cigarette break, because I used to smoke cigarettes at that time, I was smoking a cigarette outside the revolving door, and Wayne Gretzky got out of a car and he was walking into his restaurant. And I said, "Hey, you're the great Gretzky." And he said, "That's what they call me." And I high-fived him. And he went inside. So I got to meet Wayne Gretzky once. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, 99 Blue Jays Way was the address they changed it to for 99, the number of Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, all right, good job. A little bit of a tough one, but you guys got there, and that's what I was saying. I'll give you guys the clues. Now, this one's a big one, guys. Number 10 is basically this, guys. There were 10 names that were the finalists for the naming of the Toronto franchise. What are the other 9 names other than Raptors that were finalists to be our name, y'all? What are the other 9 names? I want to see how many y'all can get. Of course, write only one in each answer so multiple people can get in there and get them. And David, give the right points for that. Yeah, one was robots or something like that. No, robots wasn't one of them. Yeah. Seymour's saying Mounties. You know what? That's actually funny you said that. That's not one of them because Mounties was a name that the Grizzlies wanted to name themselves. In fact, the ownership group in Vancouver had given out pamphlets in red and looking like Mounties, and they couldn't do it because the police wouldn't allow them up here. And also the NBA was like, we don't want to have police as your mascot. So that was actually something that the Grizzlies wanted to do, not the Raptors. They actually really seriously did this. It's in the book and Prehistoric, y'all. It is in the book. Alex Wong talks about how the Grizzlies were trying to get away with being called the Mounties, y'all, just so you know. All right, let's see. Huskies was not on the list. The Huskies was never in the finalist list because it was not going to be realistic with the Timberwolves. The Towers, CN Towers? No, Towers is not on the finalist list. I'm sorry. Velociraptor is what we were named, Fiercey. So, yeah, Amit's going to say Beavers. Beavers is right. Amit, you're going to get points for Beavers. Beavers is one of the answers. They did actually have Beavers on the name. It's like kind of crazy. Beavers is right. Let's see. T-Rex is right. So, Fiercey will get T-Rex. So, that's 2. Dragons is right. Andrew, you get Dragons. Monstars is not right. Bobcats is right. Amit, now don't go. You look this up. You're going down the list alphabetically, Amit. I can tell because you started with the first one. You're going the second one. Don't do this, Amit. I told you no Googling, and I can tell when you're doing it. So, yeah, tread lightly. Kareem's saying Hogs. Hogs is on there. I know that's a weird one. Hogs is actually on there. So, yeah, 25. Yeah, just give 25 for each one, David. They're all pretty equal. So, okay, so far we've got 5 of the names. There's 4 left. There's 4 names left. Hogs is gone. Bobcats is gone. Dragons is gone. T-Rex is gone. And Beavers is gone. And the Raptors were 1. And then there's 4 other names that are on there. Huskies isn't not one of them. You're not Googling? Your grandfather told you this stuff? Okay. That's pretty good. Ice is not there. North Stars is not there. Hogs was one of the names. Yeah. Hogs was one of the names. Yeah. Blizzard is not one of them. Let's just say one of the names on this list is a name that another team took as their NBA name instead. That is a good clue right there. So in some ways, and they obviously weren't in the league before, so you have to think about that. So one of the names on this list, Grizzlies is one of the names. One of the finalist names was Grizzlies for us, Toronto Grizzlies. Yeah. Hornets is not right, Fiercey. Hornets is not one of them. So we've got 3 left, and they're weird. They're weird ones. In some ways, they're creepy, crawly, gross kind of creatures. In some ways, when I was telling Adriana these, she's like, that's gross. Why would they name the team that? I don't want that. Yeah, Grizzlies is right. Isaac got Grizzlies. Caterpillars, that's interesting. That's about right, but it's not right. Spiders is kind of right, but it's not the right kind of. You got to be more specific, guys. Spiders is a good guess, but it's not right. And there's another creature that's like a spider, too. So there's 2 answers that are left still. that are kind of like this. Yeah, tarantulas is right. We were going to be the Toronto Tarantulas, Kareem Thomas. That's right, tarantulas. Snails? No, not snails. Tarantula is right. He got one of them. Arachnids. That's crazy. Who's going to be like Toronto arachnids? Come on now, Isaac Campbell. Ants? Ants is an interesting guess, Bryce. Let's just say, do you guys know the wrestler Sting? Yeah. Do you know his finishing move? That might get you an answer right here. Yeah. Turtles is not right. Turtles is not right. Yeah. Not turtles. Terriers is right. Okay, Amit. Are you sure you're not looking it up? Nobody should know terriers. Come on, man. That is an answer, though. We were going to be the Toronto Terriers, like a dog. Scorpions is the right answer. Yes. Kareem got that from the Sting guess right there. Scorpion. All right. Is that all of them? I think we got all of them except for one at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did somebody get that other word? I think there's one that we didn't get yet. And it's one of the, oh yeah, there it is. Andrew did say it. So David, if you could go through and figure out who said stuff first, I think we've got all the answers in. Basically, the 9 answers were Beavers, Toronto Beavers, right? Toronto Bobcats, Toronto Grizzlies, Toronto Hogs, Toronto Scorpions, Toronto T-Rex, Toronto Tarantulas, Toronto Terriers, and then the final one was Toronto Dragons. So those are the 9 right there. Toronto Scorpions. You would have liked being Scorpions? Yeah, we could maybe even get them to come and whistle at our games. Down at Jurassic Park, the winds of change. Yeah, scorpions. You thought robots or cyborgs was one of them? That'd be kind of cool. I guess Toronto robots. Yeah. You got them all, David? Thank you, David. Thank you for adjudicating and catching it all. Yeah. Kareem's like, I know all of them, but the 30 seconds stopped me. Hey, I just wanted it to be fair for everybody. That's right. They should name the WNBA team that, the Toronto Scorpions. I don't know. Here they are. Rock you like a hurricane. That's right. I'm all about that. Adriana's saying some of those team names are so weird. I can't picture them. Like Terriers. Like what wanted us to be the little dogs? Like yappy dog. Right? Why would you pick like a big fierce dog? Like Toronto Rottweilers. Like Cece or Cardi. Like Cardi. Sorry. Like Cardi. Scotty's dog Cardi. Dog Day yesterday, by the way. You know, if you ever wonder about Lex, well, I'm born on Dog Day, so I got that dog in me. That's right. All right, let's see. Kareem's saying, did I get scorpions and tarantulas? I don't know. Let me look at the score list and see. It's a lot to write in there. So we'll have to see who got what. David took care of it, though. I'm pretty sure you got in there and got those, though, my guy. I think you're pretty good. I can look at the live score. Looks like you've got like 325s there, Kareem. So I think you got 3 of those answers. So that's pretty good. All right, let's move on, guys. We got more trivia questions. That's right. Amit saying Terriers was supposed to be like the second coming of the Huskies. Still should have picked a better dog, though. Yeah, Raptors is fine. Raptors is the perfect name for our team. This is the right name right here. That TOR in there is with the TOR in the beginning of the city name. Toronto Raptors is the right name. We got the right one, baby. That's what I'll say right there. I mean, seriously, those other names. I mean, the only other one that I think would have worked is Towers. But that was all messed up by Stepien and his bullshit in the 80s. That was what he wanted to name the Toronto team, the Toronto Towers, when he almost made the Cleveland Cavaliers move to Toronto. And in like 1983, guys, they were going to try and move the Cavs to Toronto. And then we would have got a team then. You know, it's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Next question, guys. What future Toronto Raptors head coach was actually considered for the Raptors team president job that Isaiah Thomas took in the beginning? There was actually a guy who came around and coached our team later that was in the initial interview process to become the team president of our team, like Isaiah was at the very beginning. And y'all probably don't know this, but who was the future head coach of the Raptors that was going to be our team president initially? Brendan Malone? No, he wasn't considered for the team president, but he was considered. He was actually going to be our assistant coach, but Isaiah was impressed with him and made him the head coach. He hired him as the assistant coach, and he was still going to look for another coach. But Brendan Malone, he gave the job to him because he came in a certain way. Dwayne Casey, Amit Gaming saying Dwayne Casey. That's not right. Dr. J. That's interesting. No, remember, guys, this is somebody who did coach the Raptors later on. Danny Ainge is not right. Stargate got it. It's Butch Carter. They actually really strongly considered hiring Butch Carter to be the very first team president of the Raptors. Isn't that weird? Especially since we know the controversy that happened with Butch Carter and Marcus Camby, that would have been a horrible hire to start our franchise. In fact, we may have gone the way of the Grizzlies if they had hired Butch Carter instead of hiring Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, so it was Butch. It was Butch Carter. Stargate got that one. Yeah, not Sam Mitchell, not Jay Triano, not Darrell Walker. Butch Carter was going to be, he was on the short list. Other people that were on that list were people like Chuck Daly. They wanted Chuck Daly to be the president of the Raptors to begin. There was some other people on there. I forget off the top of my head. You got to read Alex's book right there. That'll tell you what the other names were. That's right. Seymour saying, what happened between Butch and Camby? This is weird. This is where there was too many hats on Butch Carter's head. He was the coach of the Raptors and coaching Camby, but he also was a part of his representation group. And there was a problem between Camby and how Carter was representing him as far as agent. So, and that was really ugly and all messed up. And Marcus Camby was feuding with Butch Carter. And this is part of the reason why we traded to get Oakley and we traded Camby to New York at that time, because they weren't getting along. Camby and Butch Carter hated each other, just so y'all know. Yeah, Butch was a great coach. He was okay. In some ways, listen, Butch Carter, Glenn Grunwald, Brendan Malone, Darrell Walker were all nepotism hires because of their close proximity to people from Indiana University, like Isaiah. These guys were all from kind of the same place, and that's why they were all brought in. So in some ways, they were, because they were friends. Darrell Walker was definitely hired as the second coach of the Raptors because he was friends with Isaiah. Butch Carter was hired and initially considered for the job of being the team president because of his connections to Indiana University and Isaiah and Glenn Grunwald and all that stuff. Because, yeah, there was a lot of that going on. Infamous saying Butch is a top 3 Raptors greatest coach? No, I wouldn't say that. The number 1 coach is obviously Nick Nurse. Second is Dwayne Casey. And third is Lenny Wilkins. I would say that right there. Those are the top 3 right there. Butch is maybe 4th. I would maybe say he's 4th. But even then, you could say Sam Mitchell is probably 4th. I would say that. I mean, I don't know. I don't put as much stock into Butch because in some ways he was limited as a coach. Let's just put it that way. And he let his own personal business get in the way of how he was doing the job for us. So there were problems with him. And people didn't even know. Monique says she hated Butch Carter. Look at that. She hated Butch Carter. Monique doesn't really hate Raptor stuff very often. She hated him. That's going to say something right there. David's saying Darko's going to be on top of that real quick. I agree with that. Darko's going to be up there someday, hopefully. Yeah. Lenny. Yeah, Lenny Wilkins. Well, he was coaching the Vince Carter years. And when we were getting to, when we played Allen Iverson, the coach of our team at that time was Lenny Wilkins. So the furthest we had gotten in the playoffs at that time, when we got to the Philadelphia series with Iverson, that was Lenny coaching at that time. That's right. Isaiah's the second best GM. I agree with that. I can get behind that. Yeah. Butch was basically Coach Carter. I mean, that is what they called him. Hey, Coach Carter. Darko first. Butthole face ain't in my top 3. There you go. I like that. Seymour, you get a dunk for that. That's right. You, my man. That's right. Seymour, you want a dunk for that? I love it. I only say that because he's a champion coach, right? 118 for Seymour Pape. Keeping it real about things. Yeah, Lenny Wilkins is most winning and most losing coach in the history of the NBA. That's true. I think he's still up there as the most winningest coach. There may be like Popovich overtook him, though. I think Pop might have overtaken him because his career's been so long and he's had so many wins. But yeah, Lenny's the most losingest coach too, for sure. All right, let's keep going, guys. These questions are interesting and fun. Let's see. All right, here's the next question, guys. What Toronto hotel did Brendan Malone live in while he was the coach of the Toronto Raptors? He never moved into a house. He was staying in a hotel downtown while he was, the entire time he was the coach of the Raptors. They sent his firing papers to that hotel room when he was fired the day after the season ended. So what hotel was he staying in downtown? Yeah. Let's see. Infamous saying all old school Raptors fans respect Butch as one of the best. Yes and no. I mean, I was working in the arena when that was happening, Infamous. There was a lot of dirty laundry behind the scenes with Butch that you didn't even realize. And the stuff with Camby was really bad, man. Really, really bad. Sheridan. The Sheridan is not right, but I like where you're thinking. Marriott, that's not right either. Royal York, that's a really good guess, but that's not right either. Andrew's saying, when I was at the Hall of Fame, it was kind of weird how they didn't mention too much that Naismith was Canadian, almost like they're trying to hide that fact. Of course, they're going to hide that. Those jabronis. Of course, they're going to hide that. We'll keep reminding them. Kareem saying the Marriott, no. The Holiday Inn, no. The Fairmount, no. Days Inn, no. You guys, I'm surprised nobody said the obvious one, but which is wrong. By the way, Hilton is not right. The Radisson is not right. I love that y'all are just naming hotel chains. This is a very specific hotel downtown, and it's not necessary. It's a special hotel. So in some ways, you guys just saying hotel names isn't right. Royal York is the best guess so far, but it's not right. Sheridan's not right. Radisson's not right. Nah, in some ways, this is a very particular hotel. You could see it from when we had Monique's birthday party. Yeah, if you know the hotels down by the lake, you can see the hotel that he stayed in that whole entire career, his whole entire coaching career with the Raptors in that hotel from the NBA restaurant when we were sitting in there with Monique and them. That's right. The Ritz. No, it's not the Ritz. It's not the Royal York. No, I'm just saying that gave away. I thought y'all would say the Skydome Hotel. Like, seriously, nobody gets the Skydome Hotel, but that's not right. It's not the Skydome. Hampton Inn is not right. Delta. It's by the Fairs. Yeah, it's by the ferry. You got to figure out what that hotel is, Seymour. What is that hotel down there by the ferry? That's right, Grange Hotel. Yeah, this is crazy, y'all. I don't know. Maybe this hotel isn't that well known. Yeah, Grange Hotel. No, Fillmore's. Fillmore's is a strip club, and I think that's funny that you put that in there. Stargate, Fillmore's. Yeah, maybe Brendan Malone was at Fillmore's. Maybe he was. I don't know. He was too angry. He wouldn't be so angry. Seems like the most auto guess, in my opinions. Yeah, Governor. Is it Governor? No. Delta Chelsea is kind of up near Elm, guys. That's up near Elm and Young, and that's not on the lake. We're talking about a hotel down on the lake, right next to where the ferry is to the island, right near the NBA restaurant, across the water from it. That's right. There we go. Andrew got it. It's the Weston Harbor Castle is where he was staying. He was staying in the Weston Harbor Castle Hotel, and that is the right answer. Andrew, Rapper Freak Andrew getting it. There you go. There you go. That's right. 150 points for Andrew. That was a tough one. It's a tough one. If you know the hotel I'm talking about, it's right next to this really great place where you get like heroes meat. Oh, Jim, my friend James used to go down there. He showed it to me. We're riding on bikes down near the lake. He's like, Lex, you can get a good box of meat here. And it's this little like restaurant right on the water. And you can sit on the outside and eat the box of meat next to the Weston Harbor Castle Hotel is right down there. Harborfront Weston. That's right. That's the right one, guys. And we're going to give it to Andrew because Andrew got it first. There you go. Weston Harbor Castle. That's right. Arg, I went to Weston twice for a salsa convention. Fiercey, you were there. She knows where I'm talking about. That's right. That's right. Now we got the answer. It's not the Intercontinental X Hotel. No, it's not. All right, let's keep going. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right, this is the next question. What first-year Toronto Raptor player knocked Isaiah Thomas down in a one-on-one game at his first practice on the team? He showed up on the team, and he went to practice, and Isaiah challenged him to a one-on-one, and they played against each other, and he knocked Isaiah on his ass. And his wife afterwards was saying, why would you do that? That's your boss. You just knocked him on his butt. And the guy said, this is actually good. He's going to respect me more because of that. Who did that? Which one of the Raptors knocked Isaiah down on his ass when he played one-on-one versus him in the first year? Carlos Rogers is not right. Yeah. Kareem, you're not on live. Hit the live button. Seymour saying Damon Stoudemire. That is not right either, guys. These are good guesses. In some ways, we got to figure out which original Raptor knocked Isaiah on his ass and gained respect with Isaiah Thomas immediately. It's pretty cool that Isaiah could still play one-on-one against his players. D. Brown. D. Brown's not an original Raptor, but he did show up shortly in the history of the team, but he wasn't there in the first year. That's right. Alvin Robertson is a great guess. It's not actually right, guys. It wasn't Alvin Robertson who knocked Isaiah on his ass. And his wife was like, why would you do that? That's your boss. He could fire you now. He's like, no, this is exactly the opposite. He's going to respect me now is what it is. Randolph saying Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. All of us are given a measure of faith according to our ability. I love that one. That's amazing. Know your gifts and your strengths and go towards them and forget about the ones you don't have. That's it right there. Yeah. Isaac saying Tracy Murray. That's not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess. Trevor's saying that's a nice hotel. I stayed there once. Yeah, it's right on the water. It probably has amazing views. Smooth saying Jimmy King. Jimmy King is not right, but guess what? Andrew's on it again. It's Doug Christie. Doug Christie got traded to the Raptors halfway through our first season from the New York Knicks, and he came and knocked Isaiah's ass down in a one-on-one matchup right away when he showed up. Andrew, Raptor Freak Andrew getting this one. It is Doug Christie who did it. It was Doug Christie. That's right. It was Doug Christie. That's right. Not Willie Anderson, not B.J. Armstrong. Doug Christie. That's who it did it. That's right. It was Doug Christie who knocked Isaiah down. That's right. Here we go. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah. It's a total shot in the dark. Andrew, you're doing well for just guessing, man. You're doing very, very well. All right. The next question is this, guys. Since the Raptors had to play their first season in the Sky Dome, which was not really ideal, and it's a baseball stadium, I want to know, guys, do you know who the architect that designed the Sky Dome is? What his name is? I want the first and last name. Who designed the Sky Dome? Because the Sky Dome is an important part of our history, even if we hated it and we should have never played there. Who designed the Sky Dome? Who's the architect who made the design for this amazing retractable roof dome that actually is still in use today? Is a fantastic life so far. So who, maybe somebody who knows Toronto stuff. If you guys are struggling, I will give some clues to get their name, and that's what I'll do. So yeah, you guys know who designed the Sky Dome? Who was the architect who designed the Sky Dome in the very beginning? The place where the Blue Jays won their World Series, guys. Ellis Don. That sounds like the construction name that I see on places all around downtown. No, that's not right. It's not Ellis Don. And Ahmed's saying if someone gives you the answer right now, there's no way they are just guessing. I don't know. This is actually well-known Toronto trivia. If you live in the city and you kind of know history of Toronto, you can know it. Yeah. Let's see. Jean Chrétien. No, I'm sorry. No clue is exactly what you got. No clue. All right. This is what I'll say. This guy's name is pretty much the same name almost exactly as the longtime announcer for The Price is Right with Bob Barker. If you know the name of the guy who used to say, come on down, you're the next contestant on The Price is Right, when Bob Barker was doing the show, way before the guy who's doing it now, you will know the name is kind of the name of the guy who did it because he has the exact same name except for one letter is just a little bit off. Bob Parker. No, you didn't listen to my clue, Kareem. I'm saying the guy who announced them to come down, not Bob Barker. I'm not going to give you the name like that. Who was the announcer on The Price is Right? That used to say, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. You know, that not Ed McMahon. No. You're so funny, Johnny. No, it's not Ed McMahon. That's the Tonight Show. There we go. Boom goes the dynamite. Look at that. All right. He got the Rod Robbie is the name of the person who designed the Sky Dome, guys. Rod Robbie. And the person who was the announcer on Price is Right was Rod Roddy. So Rod Robbie is the right answer, and Randolph's getting it today. One of our wise men coming in and getting some clue, getting some trivia points today. Randolph Phillips, look at this. I love that. I love that. Rod Robbie is the right name. The guy who designed the Sky Dome is Rod Robbie. Yeah, Rod Roddy is the announcer for Price is Right. Stargate got that right, but the Rod Robbie is the name of the architect. 200 for Randolph on that one. I love that. Ari Shamshay, that'd be awesome if he designed the Sky Dome. I don't know how that would work, Marty McFly, but that would be awesome. Trevor's saying classic car is going to be shipped in a week because it's coming from another dealer. All right, Trevor, thanks for the heads up. All right, guys, we only have a couple more questions left on here, the 3 to be exact, and let's see how it goes. All right, the next question is, guys, what band played the Canadian national anthem at the first ever Toronto Raptors regular season game? What band was there to play the anthem at our first ever game, the Canadian anthem? They played it before. Yeah, it's a big deal. If you guys know this, it's amazing. So who was there at the Sky Dome the night we played while Tim McGraw was playing over at Maple Leaf Gardens? Who was singing our anthem in the arena? Triumph is not right. That's a great answer, Andrew. Tragically Hip is not right either. You guys are guessing Canadian bands, and you're on the right track. Blue Rodeo is not right either, guys. Good guess, Smooth Brown Man. Gord Downey is not right, Isaac. It's not right either. but you guys are in the right area for sure. This band rocked the house because they sang the anthem half in English and half in French. And it really was a big deal. Glass Tiger is not right, Fiercey. Getting some good Canadian bands listed here. Yeah, Shamshay looks great working out. All right, Trevor, wait till we're done. We're not there yet. Trevor's like all about all other business. Bismack Biyombo, he sang the anthem? That would be amazing. Moist. No, it's not moist. It's not moist. John Bon Jovi. Yeah, the great Canadian John Bon Jovi. No, Kareem, it is a Canadian artist, just so you know, who sang the anthem at the first ever Raptors game. Yeah, who sang that anthem in the Sky Dome in front of the crowd when we first started our journey? There you go. Infamous got it. It's the Bare Naked Ladies. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I'd sing the anthem at the first Raptors game because I'm famous. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. If I had $1 million. That's right. And there you go. Boom goes the dynamite. It's Bare Naked Ladies. Good job. Infamous. Getting 75 points there. Maestro Fresh West. Kareem, you are not live. You got to hit that live button, that red button in the corner, man. You're behind. Brian Adams. Everything I do it for you. All right, let's see. We got 2 more questions and we're out of here on the questions for the trivia. All right, this next question is about AC Earl. Original Raptor, Toronto Raptor, AC Earl. He grew up. Who was the player, a great Hall of Famer that AC Earl idolized as a child? What player in the history of the NBA was AC Earl's idol is what I'm asking. This is tough. This is a tough one. Do you guys know AC Earl enough to know who he idolized when he was a child? What NBA great was it? Dominique Wilkins? No, it wasn't Dominique. It's an interesting guess, Andrew. It's not right. In some ways, this has to do with AC Earl's origins and where he's from, is why this guy would be his guy that he loves so much. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is right. Ahmed, I don't know how you did that. In some ways, it seems like that is cheating. Once again, I see something really weird happening here. Because, like, honestly, just pulling that out of thin air, that's really suspicious. I'm going to say that right now. David, why are you saying well done? I don't know. That's suspicious. We should have worked harder on this one. It's not like 2 guesses and somebody should have got that one. No, that's suspicious as hell. Give me the reasoning how you knew that, Amit. Seriously, because in some ways that seems really fishy to me. That's fishy. You think he knew it? I don't think he knew that. Unless he read that book. If he read that book, then I'll say, yeah, he could have gotten it out there because it's in the book. It's not online anywhere. You just guessed? You don't even know who AC Earl is? All right. He just guessed out of blue and he happened to get it. It's actually right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the person who AC Earl idolized as a kid. That's just a shot in the dark. Well, you got it. That's amazing. All right. He idolized future Hall of Famer Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was like a little child. Kyle Lowry was like a little kid when 95 hit around then. So, yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Kareem's saying that's BS. I know. It's a little fishy. It's a little fishy. It's kind of like how he came in with the alphabetical order of the team names. It's like he named the first 2 alphabetically. I'm like, Ahmed, don't do that, because in some ways that's a telltale sign that somebody's reading the list from somewhere when they take it from the top and then the next 2. All right, let's keep going. All right, there's one more question, guys, and this is it. What original Raptors player threw Coach Brendan Malone under the bus to the press the day after he was fired, saying he dug his own grave, he didn't respect us enough as people, and he didn't give everyone a chance? Which one of the Raptors said that to the press after they fired Brendan Malone after his first year? Yeah, let's see. Ahmed is 15. That's right. Let's see. I'm only 20. I'm struggling with these questions. You guys are doing pretty good, honestly, considering. Did y'all listen to my question? Damon Stoudemire is not right. Ahmed is just effing smart. That's all. He tells us when he's Googling. I want to believe he's true, but in some ways I worry about that. Vince Carter is not right. You got to remember who was on the team. Vince Carter wasn't on the team in the first year. Come on now. Which one of the Raptors, the original Raptors, threw Brendan Malone under the bus the day after he was fired to the press? He came out and said basically he didn't respect us. He treated us garbage, and he didn't let everybody get a chance. Is kind of what he said. BJ Armstrong's not right. BJ never showed up. He said, nah, I don't want to play for y'all. We traded him before he even came here. So BJ Armstrong never, ever played for the Raptors. Tracy Murray is a good guess, but it's not right. Tracy Murray only had good things to say about Toronto and everything that had happened here. This is a different player. Alvin Robertson is not correct. Kareem. That's a good guess, though. That's not a bad guess. Charles Oakley was not around at this time, Neil. This is way before Charles. Charles showed up around 98. So it wasn't exactly Charles. Martin Lewis. That's an interesting guess. That's a very little known early Raptor. And actually, I don't even think he was on the Raptors the first year. Jimmy King would be a fantastic guess because he was one of those players he didn't give a chance to, but that's not right. Yeah. Yeah. Amit Sand, trust me, I'll let you know when I'm Googling. I'm not ashamed to admit I won last season from Googling. Ed Pickney is not right. That's another interesting guess. It's not right. Ed Pickney. Ed Pickney, the first man to ever touch the ball as a Toronto Raptor in the jump ball and winning the jump ball for the Raptors. The very first person who ever touched the basketball in the NBA in a regular season game was Ed Pickney. There's a little trivia for you guys for another time. Let's see. Smooth saying BJ actually took a pic with the Raptors hat and ball the day after he was selected by the Raps. Front page of the Star Sports section. Yeah, he came and he did an interview and he said all the things like he was ready to play, but behind the scenes, he was working with Isaiah to get him traded. And he was like, I just came off these championships with the Bulls. I'm in my prime. I don't really want to help y'all set up your new team. And he was like, can you trade me? And they traded him to Golden State, and they got Victor Alexander and Carlos Rogers and another player in that deal. Yeah, Herb Williams is not correct. Alvin Robertson is not correct. Carlos Rogers is not correct. Yeah. But yeah, BJ did show up, and he did act like he wanted to be here, but that was only for one-time appearance. And they turned around and traded him right away. Kareem's got it. It was Oliver Miller who threw Brendan Malone under the bus and said exactly what I just said. He said he dug his own grave. He didn't respect us enough as people, and he didn't give everyone a chance. And he was talking mainly about Jimmy King and Vincenzo Esposito as two of the players that Brendan Malone hated, and he never, ever played those guys hardly in the first year. So it's Oliver Miller is the right answer. Fred VanVleet wasn't playing yet. AC Earl is not right, and Jeff Doughton Jr. No, it was Oliver Miller, outspoken all the time. Oliver did some weird shit. Like, all right, Tracy Murray was on a very low contract with the Raptors because he was in his last leg, and he just needed a spot to get in and prove himself. So he was one of the best bargain contracts ever in the history of the Raptors. We paid him minimum, and he was our second best player on our team, second highest scorer, and just did so much good. Well, he was going to get paid the next year regardless, and that's why we didn't retain him. He wanted to stay in Toronto, but the rules were that we couldn't pay him a certain percentage over what we paid him the year before. Meanwhile, a new team could pay him way above that. So they screwed us over with retaining Tracy Murray at the beginning. Now, Oliver Miller did something really nice at that time. He's so dumb, though. He did it nicely, but it really screwed him up. It was one of the worst decisions he ever made professionally. Oliver was on a really good contract where he was making like $2 million a year. And that contract was hated by the Raptors early because they were like, man, we're paying you too much for what you're doing. Well, he was so benevolent. Oliver, he ripped up his contract to help the Raptors get more space to try and re-sign Tracy Murray. But Tracy Murray, it wasn't even enough. And Tracy Murray ended up going to the Washington Bullets anyway. So Oliver all of a sudden ripped up a $2 million a year contract to help the Raptors. And he ended up, this is what happened. He ended up not getting re-signed by the Raptors and signing the minimum with Dallas instead. And he said, this was one of the worst decisions I ever made professionally in my life. I was guaranteed $2 million and I ended up making $100,000 instead that year. It was a benevolent act, but in some ways he really didn't talk to people about it in the right way. And he just did it to be like helpful for the Raptors. In some ways, I'm proud of you, and that's really nice, but it totally backfired and it kind of screwed him over. So it is kind of that. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you guessed that it was Oliver Miller. Yeah. Yeah. He's such an interesting guy. I love Oliver Miller. In some ways, like I said earlier, I didn't like the fat shaming. It was so bad. Oliver would be playing in games and fans at rinks courtside would say stuff like, Oliver, I'm ordering a pizza for you. And they're on the phone. And Oliver would, instead of like getting mad at them for making fun of him, he would say basically, you make sure it's a meat lover's pizza. You see how fat I am. I don't want no vegetarian pizzas. You better make it a meat lover's. He yelled that at the fan back. If they try, he doubled down on them trying to call him fat and stuff like that. And like, they'd be like, oh, I got this nice sandwich at the court. And Oliver's like, give me that. And he'd like bite it and he'd like throw it back at the fan. Like he really played into the fat boy thing. And it's like, the Fat Boys were that rap band. They were all very proud, big and beautiful. They were like, we're sexy, big fat men. And well, in some ways, Oliver was embracing that. And he was like, not like letting people make fat jokes about him because he was making himself into the joke with them. But in some ways, it hurt him. It did hurt him. And it did feed his eating disorder, which is what he had. In some ways, back in that time, nobody understood about eating disorders and overeating and eating to put the pain away. And that's what he was doing. And in some ways, we're a lot more knowledgeable of ailments that people deal with. Well, they undiagnosed that he had an eating disorder this whole time, Oliver Miller, and why he was 390 pounds and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what happened there. Yeah. He went to Washington. Yeah. Murray went to the Washington Bullets at that time. And he had a very good career after that. And he did circle back and come back to the Raptors later because he did really love Toronto and he did want to come play for us again. And he did. He did show back up and have a second stint with the Raptors after his first year with us. Yeah. Good guess by Kareem. Mo's saying, because I read the book, I don't need to answer the questions. That's right. Mo's read Alex Wong's Prehistoric book, and y'all need to go out there and get it yourself and read it yourself because it's a damn good book. That's what I'm saying right now. That's right. Everyone's saying Oliver and Keon, two of my all-time favorites. Two very hurt, dysfunctional men that have gone through a lot in their lives and pain. And it manifested in addictions, whether it's addiction for food or addiction for alcohol. That's what happened with those two guys. Yeah, they're very humanistic human beings, not perfect. That's right. And just saying, laugh out loud. He's a professional athlete. All those people can suck it. Yeah, listen, that man may have been almost 400 pounds, but he was getting up and down the court fine. Nobody's getting in his way. He used that weight to his advantage. Trust me. Go watch an Oliver Miller mixtape from back in the day, and you'll see just how good he was offensively. It didn't matter that he had big fat arms and a big fat belly. That man could play still. And in some ways, this is like something that happens in wrestling. People always talk shit about Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes was just a big fat slob. Is a son of a plumber, and he's a plumber. And in some ways, it's like this guy's not really an athlete. Bullshit. Dusty Rhodes could wrestle for an hour, even if he looked like a tank. And he was a fat sumo-looking belly. Yeah, there's a difference between being fat and being out of shape. You can be fat and be in shape. Trust me. And Oliver Miller and Dusty Rhodes are good examples of that. You could very much be in shape and still have too many pounds on you. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Smooth saying Oliver Miller had some really good moments with Phoenix, a big part of their finals appearance in '93. Yeah, that's the sad thing. He did that with the Suns, and Charles was making fun of him. And then he came to the Raptors after that. He loved it here, though. He was very happy to come to Toronto, and he really did believe and buy in with us. So I don't have any hate towards Oliver Miller. And I think he did 2 stints with us also, just like Tracy Murray. Yeah. Yeah. Kareem saying the thing is Oliver did what he needed to do. He boxed out, grabbed boards, and was physical down low. The art of the center has been lost because the obsession of having to shoot threes. Agreed. And Seymour saying Oliver Miller over DeAndre Ayton any day. You know what, Seymour? I'm going to give you a dunk for that one. That's hilarious. I like that one right there. That's pretty good. 119 for Seymour on that one. Very, very good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Fiercely saying Dominatin is garbage. Yeah, there you go. Keon, number 1. And Seymour's 100% with eye candy on that. All right, good stuff. All right, let me see what else we got going on today. Leo Routen's, his words of wisdom are, every experience, no matter how bad it seems, holds within it a blessing of some kind. The goal is to find that blessing. There you go. I love it. Here's your Instagram stories. Jay Nathan still walking around in Downs in Spain. He's got the picture from Lloyd's Instagram, putting on blast the cathedral and Lloyd walking in front of it. And then he's in the gym. I like to see a lot of the Raptors in the Instagram stories today are putting the ball on the court and they're putting in work. This is the time of the summer to definitely ramp up, doing what you're doing to develop, to get ready for the season, because training camp will be here before you know it, gentlemen. And it sounds like with Andrew's countdown, 40 days till preseason. Well, we're going to have a week or two before that preseason of you guys coming in for a training camp. And we're going to be there very soon. So keep putting that work in, young Raptors. Jonathan Mobo on the court, putting in work. Lloyd got a picture of himself on a boat, and it looks like it's in Spain off of Ibiza coast. And there you go. Lloyd also saying God has got his back. And I believe that's true. Lloyd's living the life. Grady Dick in the gym himself, looking very big around the shoulders. Oh, Rashamshe, dribbling backwards in the court with his workout right now, dribbling backwards and then forwards. They'll come up and attack the rim with a dunk. I'm telling you, this kid's parameters and possibilities and athleticism is the sky's the limit. All Rashamshe, you are the future in some ways, along with Scotty Barnes. And I can't wait to see how you develop. I want to see every success and every highest potential ceiling that you can get to, young Cameroonian, because seriously, you are special. I can already tell. And I'm excited to see what Shamshe is going to do as his career progresses. If you can be anything like your countryman, Pascal, you're going to be a great, great, great man. You know you are. He's working on a little baby hook in the lane. He's doing all these dribbles between his legs. He looks like his handles aren't bad. He's doing nice fundamental back ends and turning around with baby hooks. There's all kinds of good stuff going on in this clips of Shamshe on his Instagram stories right now. The work he is putting in is looking tough, y'all. And I'm serious. He may be good right off the start. It just is foul trouble. If he can stay out of foul trouble, Shamshe, you're going to stay on the court because you've got all the talent in the world, my guy. I love seeing those clips. Definitely check them out. Brendan Carlson getting put on Raptors admin blast for the dog day yesterday. They had a nice picture of Scotty and his two dogs, Cece and Cardi. They had a picture of RJ and all of his little French poodles. Yeah, you know the dogs I'm talking about. They're cute. RJ's got a bunch of them. And then Brendan Carlson with his wife, I'm guessing, or girlfriend, and his dog. His name is Madden. The name of Brendan Carlson's dog is Madden. His big NBA debut is what he's saying on his Instagram stories. Some people are saying, "Who is that last guy on the post?" Man, you casuals, pay attention. Watch the Raptor Free channel. You'll know who Brendan Carlson is. Undrafted two-way player for the Raptors, coming in as a center who can shoot threes and block shots. Then you'll know idiots who are in the comments saying, "Who's that third guy, the last guy? Who the hell is that guy?" Yeah, casuals. Start watching the Raptor Free channel. You'll know. You'll be up to date. Jamal Shed also put in the work in gyms. I love seeing it from all the young Raptors doing stuff. He's signing some cards. It looks like his card for people. And yeah, he's also celebrating a guy for the Texas Longhorns football team. Let's see, Gary Trent Jr. One day earlier, he's posting a goodbye to the Raptors, and now he's got a picture of him with all the new Bucks. The three new Bucks are coming to their team. It looks like it's Tarion Prince, DeLon Wright, and Gary Trent Jr. in this picture. DeLon Wright is a Buck, new Buck with them also. So yeah, we love DeLon, also great Raptors alumni. The Raptors putting out a clip of him falling off a garbage can in the arena saying Mondays, am I right? And he fell and he nutted himself on top of the yeah, it's pretty funny. He crotched himself. 905 open tryouts Saturday, September 21st. Pay $225 for pre-registration before September the 1st, $275 after the 1st. So get in there. And if you really want to make your hoop dreams come true, you can try out for the 905, baby, and be playing with Ulrich Shamshe. That's what I'm saying right there. Dubber Don has got a Toronto Twitch streamer, Denny L2S, on blast for he did a 24-hour stream to finish off the summer. So this guy's going to be on the stream for 24 hours straight. That sounds like fun. Maybe I should try and do 24 hours sometime on this stream just for charity. Do it for a good cause. You think Lex could do a 24-hour straight stream? Would you all stay up for a Lexathon of that long? That would be nuts. And it would be very weird. And I'd have to do a lot of preparation to make sure I had good things to do during that whole entire time so that it's not absolutely boring. But yeah, that's interesting. Dubber Don putting on blast this guy who's doing a Twitch stream for 24 hours. DeMar DeRozan talking to Jeff Teague, talking about he was a trench baby and getting into basketball and how he had to get out of the trenches. And yeah, his book is coming out soon, guys. So we're going to have to check out DeMar's book. You'll probably see me do a book report on it in the months to come. Isaac Bonga watching some Studio Ghibli, some anime. Pascal was out there playing tennis, but now he's in his personal gym, the PS43 gym, and guess who's there with him, guys? Andrew Nebhart and many of the other Indiana Pacers. So Pascal having a Pacers practice in his home court gym at the PS gym, a PS43 gym. We see a bunch of the young Pacers there working out with Siakam, and the Pacers coaches are there also. So they're doing a little bit of a Pacers camp at Pascal's gym on his Instagram stories. Let's see who else we got. Emmanuel Quickly's cruising around where there's palm trees. I'm not totally sure exactly where he is. I cannot tell exactly. But yeah, where in the world is Emmanuel? I'm not sure. Amari Moore getting his haircut once again at Al Partros Barbers Amari Moore, we're expecting big things from you. Look at that nice lines and Amari's hair. They did a really good job. Really, really good job. There's their Instagram stories for today. A lot of the Raptors are in on courts and they are playing and practicing right now. And this is the time of the year for that right there. That's right. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat after my Instagram stories there. Keon Clark had the first throw down dunk I've ever seen. Yeah, Clark was very, very talented. And it's amazing that he did so well considering how drunk he was every single time he took the court for the Raptors. If you look real close, his eyes are very glazed and glassy and watery because that man was drinking pints of vodka at halftime. And he was drunk when he showed up at the beginning of the game, too, just so y'all know. In some ways, he probably has a regret that he didn't play hardly any of his NBA games in his career sober. It's just the damn truth. And in some ways, if you watch him, there's a little bit of awkwardness, like he was drunk at times in his motions, but often he had some really interesting things to him too. You know, the reason why Keon did this is he had very much a hard time with being in public and being around people and being on such a spotlight. He did it to cut the edges off. Much like a singer or entertainer or a musician may drink to be more comfortable on stage. And that's kind of why Keon Clark was doing that, just so y'all know. Trevor's saying WWE Sid Udi died at the age of 65. Yeah, I was going to talk about this, actually. I have a tab here, the Iron Sheik recognizing Psycho Sid died. Yeah, I'm sad about this. The last couple birthdays I've had, people have died on them. Bob Barker died on my birthday, actually, like last year, I think. And this year it's Sid Vicious of wrestling. It's really sad. He had cancer. But the thing is that Sid got to go home and be with his family, see his grandkids, and be around them a lot and be surrounded by his family instead of dying in a hotel room like a lot of the wrestlers have, either by suicide or a drug overdose. In some ways, it's great that Sid got to live the last part of his life surrounded by his family in a very positive, healthy way. But still, it's way too young. It's really sad because he is one of the greats. And one of the saddest things about Sid Justice, a.k.a. Sid Vicious, a.k.a. Psycho Sid dying, is that he really wanted to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And, well, he wasn't inducted while he was alive because he didn't get in there in time. So, yeah, for shame. In some ways, the grudges that the WWE and Vince McMahon have held against certain wrestlers and holding them out over the years is not right. And some of these guys need to get their just desserts and their rewards and their accolades before they pass on. So let's give some flowers before these people are actually in the grave. How about that, Triple H? Because you'll drop the ball on Sid. Sid's gone now, and you guys aren't going to be able to honor him. You probably should have did it earlier this year, to be honest. So, yeah, you start thinking that way, Paul, you jackass Levesque. You need to start thinking that way, Triple H, you jerk, because you're in charge now, and you don't have to be gatekeep like dumbass Vince did before. But, yeah, it's really, really sad that Sid Vicious passed away yesterday. Of course, he had one of the most horrific in-ring accidents in the history of wrestling where his leg broke right in half in the middle of a match, and it was disgusting. The bones were hanging out, and it broke at a right angle to the side, and it looked really, really gross. Really, really gross. Oh, my gosh. Seymour saying, any news with Coloco? No. And no news is not good news. And I'm telling you, the saying usually is no news is good news. No news is not good news when it comes to Coloco right now. We need news on him. We do. Let's see. Most saying Paralympics start tomorrow. Opening ceremonies. I introduced Lex to wheelchair basketball. Yeah, it's such a cool, interesting sport. And yeah, more power to Paralympics and all of what they're doing and more people giving him attention and more success in the future. I'm all about that for sure, Mo. Andrew saying, I saw those comments too. I thought the same thing. How can you be a fan of this team and not know guys like that? Half the fans probably don't even know Shamshi or Shed. They're casuals. There's levels to this, Andrew. You know, Raptor Freak is a standard level that is attained when you are like us. But there's a lot of people that consider themselves Raptors fans that aren't on our level as far as how in depth and how passionate and how much we're in the know. In some ways, we can't be mad at them. They have their lives. They may not be as intense. They're casual. They're casual fans. They may like the Raptors. They may root for them. They may go to games, but they're not keeping up with it like we are. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, you saw those comments too, and you're like, who are these people? You make yourself sound bad when you're in here saying stuff like that. That's right. Kareem saying, next to football, wheelchair basketball is probably the most roughest sport. I witnessed this at YMCA in the early 2000s. Yeah, there's some very strong athletes in wheelchair basketball. Of course, a lot of it's the upper strength and just grabbing the chair and like running around, and they can get really physical with their arms in certain ways with each other while they're doing it. Yeah, it's a very intense sport and it's super competitive. And it's also a sport that has grown. In some ways, you don't actually have to be a daily wheelchair user to play it. You can there's a lot of people that don't use wheelchairs that play wheelchair basketball. So it's not a sport that's not it keeps us out. No, they're not keeping us out. We could go play it if we want to. We just have to play it by their rules and the way it is. That's right. Seymour saying I'd be in and out like the burger joint if you did a 24-hour stream. I mean, that'd be weird. I don't know what I would do. I have to get like special guests. I probably have to make like every single segment that I normally do and just do them. I'll do like the whole week in 1 week. I'll do a special report, a Monday moment, a Tuesday trivia, a Wow Wednesday, a Thursday think tank. I'll do all the different segments for like different chunks of it. It's 24 hours. So I have like 12 2-hour periods. I'll do 7 of them for each day. And then I'll have to figure out the other 5 like 2-hour periods for just weirdness, or who knows. I don't know if I should do this. In some ways, I'm older, and staying up all night 24 hours straight and trying to talk on the air, that may not be good for my health. So maybe I'll have to limit it to be like a 12-hour stream or something. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. If there's some sort of reason to do this, maybe I will, but otherwise maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, Info is saying you can't do 24 hours on YouTube. It's not allowed. They cut you off after 12. Okay, that's interesting to know. So maybe I'll do it special on Twitch, because I am on Twitch also. Of course, y'all will have to find me and stuff. I don't know. Maybe 12 is right. Maybe that's good. Maybe YouTube has this policy just for people's health. Yeah, we can't have you do 24 hours. Come on, that you're going to really hurt yourself. I'd have to try and eat while I'm on, right? And what would I do? Go to the bathroom. I'd have to have somebody else there so they could kind of be involved while I'm kind of needing to go do stuff. So I'd need a co-host for that, for sure. I think I would. Yeah, this is very interesting. I'm glad you're telling me that the YouTube won't let me do 24. Andrew saying my physiotherapist made the final cut of the 905 tryout a long time ago. It was down to him and Freddie. He claims it's the reason Freddie won the chip because he couldn't guard Curry like Fred did. That's an amazing story. So you're saying your physiotherapist was at the 905 tryouts with Fred VanVleet and he got cut before Fred did. That's amazing. That is an amazing story, Andrew. I love that so much. Andrew, you've been an MVP lately with your countdown and getting some answers today. I'm going to give you a 3-pointer. You're at 38, my guy. 38 dunks. That's an interesting story. Cream saying, Andrew, who's your physiotherapist? I'm also one. So maybe he knows him. He doesn't remember his name. His name is Martin, but he can't remember his name. Seymour's laughing about it. Yeah, Sid had great promos. I don't know if that's totally true. I mean, there's a lot of interesting Sid promos where he kind of lost track of what he was supposed to say. And it was really crazy. Like he would say the craziest shit off the top of his head. And sometimes he'd say, like, he had the one famous promo where he was talking about, and I have half a brain. You have a brain and I have half a brain. He was like insulting himself and he didn't even realize it. So he's weird. Like he's so interesting. Like he was built to be a wrestler, obviously. And he had that look, and he really was intensified. Like he'd shake, and he'd be like, he was something else. But in some ways, the biggest problem with Sid during his career was his first passion was softball. It wasn't professional wrestling, and often Sid would not mind being not working because he'd rather be playing softball out on the softball field. He was like a very good softball player. He was like a professional softball player. So in some ways, his passion was not professional wrestling. It was softball. And that's one of the weird things about Sid right there. Andrew saying, I think Martin Rutherford or something like that, his name. Martin Rutherford is the physiotherapist who tried out for the 905. Smooth saying, I saw Sid wrestle in a 3-way with John Cena and Edge at Skydome. That was later Sid, obviously, if it was with Cena and Edge. And that's not prime Sid, that's for sure. That's probably Sid near the end. Physically, he just had to retire at a certain point because his leg was messed up. In some ways, he really destroyed his leg in that match with Rick Steiner, where he fell so bad. And man, that's such a gruesome, ugly injury. He was never the same after that injury when he broke basically the 2 lower leg bones on his right leg when he jumped off the top ropes in a weird way. And he's talked about why that happened and why he was not comfortable doing that. The booker told him to do that, but he said, I don't ever do this move. And I'm not totally comfortable coming off the ropes and landing like that. Well, there was a good reason, and it really did mess him up. And in some ways, that wasn't right for them to make Sid do that spot when he wasn't comfortable for it and wasn't safe. It was kind of emblematic of the problems with WCW and their management and just not being very smart. Yeah, not very smart. You know, Sid was misused in a lot of ways. If he had been so flaky, he could have been as huge as Hulk Hogan in certain ways, as far as his personality and his ability and his persona and charisma. It was off the charts. It was off the charts. Yeah, Andrew saying he said he worked on Andrew Wiggins, and he said Wiggins was lazy and never wanted to do his stretches. See, I can see that about Wiggins. In some ways, this is part of the reason why I wasn't so keen on having him on Team Canada. In some ways, I get the vibe of Wiggins as being like that. So that makes sense. Impa saying past 60 is considered a milestone in wrestling. Most of them die too young. Well, there was a lot of guys that died in their 40s around the 2000s, like Mr. Perfect, Ray Traylor, Rick Rude. Yeah, it was really, really crazy the amount of wrestlers that were dying from the 80s wrestling of WWF, the steroid era, with heart problems. That's exactly it right there. They abused steroids in the 80s. Well, they dropped dead in the 2000s. And that was really, really bad. There were a lot of them. Yeah. Stargate saying Lex, Kelvin Sullivan died as well. Yeah. And I have a lot of personal connections to Kevin Sullivan. I kind of brought this up a little bit after he passed. I'm very sad about it. I'm Facebook friends with Kevin Sullivan. Like, seriously, he's a Facebook friend of mine. And I have interacted with him through there. But I've also met him in real life. I met him in Tallahassee after a wrestling match. He was eating a plate of spaghetti at the hotel bar, and we were coming in there to hang out, my friends and I, because we had heard that the wrestlers were going to be there. And I went and talked to Kevin Sullivan for like 5 minutes while he ate a plate of spaghetti. It's just one of the most brilliant minds in the history of wrestling. He really, really knew his stuff, and he was taught by the great Eddie Graham down in Florida, one of the best, absolute best territory promoters in the history of wrestling, Eddie Graham. And while Kevin Sullivan was sad, is similar to like Manute Bol, what happened with him. He got in a really bad car accident earlier this year, and the injuries really affected his life for the rest of it. And he went into decline after this car accident. So very sad about Kevin Sullivan also. Didn't really bring him up around that time. Just a little bit I brought it up. But yeah, I'm very sad about this because Kevin Sullivan was in Florida when I was a kid, and I went to watch him wrestle when I was little. And that's sad to me. It's sad to me. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. John was just starting out. John who? John Cena. Yeah, he was very early, very, very early at that time. Kareem saying, I watched the documentary on Chris Candido. Man, wrestlers really about that life and always was cut short. These WWF, WWE, WCW guys were all hooped up. Their stories are sad, but awesome. Yeah, Candido, that's a whole other level of sadness and weirdness on that one. Yeah, let's not even talk about Sonny. Kareem's also saying, if you were to do a 24-hour stream, the perfect day would be December 31st and January 1st. Bring it in the new year and also watch the Raptors back-to-back against Brooklyn and Boston. Man, that would be tiring. But I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. That would be the time to do it. But if I did it, it'd have to be a strategic 12-hour, I think. Because YouTube won't let me go 24. So Info is saying, if you're doing a marathon stream, have donations and the money going to a special charity. That's exactly why I would do it. I mean, I don't want to do it just as bad for my health. I would do it only for a good cause. And we'd have to organize that and everything. In some ways, we're just spitballing, brainstorming right now without any real reason to do it. But if there is a case, maybe this is what I do. Maybe this is what I do. That's right. Yeah. Harlem Heat, sucker. Can you dig it, sucker? Ice, ice. I loved Harlem Heat, man. I did, man. They were with Sister Sherry. Yeah, let's go. Most saying, way to go, Shantae, rocking the Raptors jersey for your birthday. Also, Fred, I was happy to see it. I went back and looked at what you were talking about, Mo, yesterday. Shantae very much wearing a Vince Carter 15 dress at her birthday party, her Y2K party, or as she called it. It looked like it was off the chain. Of course, Freddie wearing a number 3 Rockets jersey, showing his real colors for right now, his team right now. But yeah, I love that Shantae was still showing love for Toronto and wearing that. It was really cool. And I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, Mo, because I would have fallen through the cracks on me. because I'm not following her at this point. And I'm really glad you brought it up because I went and looked at the pictures. That party looked live as hell. Oh my gosh, that party they had down there. I don't know where they had it, if they had it in Houston or they had it in Rockford, whatever, wherever they had it. That party that Shantae Van Vliet, his wife, put together was badass. Let's just put it that way. It was really, really good. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying Razor Ramon, life imitates art. Tragic. Yeah. I mean, we could get into all the different stories from wrestling, and I could really analyze and tell you what happened there. Scott Hall is a very interesting story. Very, very interesting story. He had some sad demons that were bothering him also that fed his addictions. For sure, for sure. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew. Very late in joining. I had a meeting to start my day. Ugh, I had to join to get my fix and start my day properly. There you go. Cool Cat, we're glad you showed up, coach. Go back and watch the stream. It's been fun. It was a history lesson on the early Raptors with stuff from the Prehistoric book. And yeah, definitely watch it. It's worth watching, especially if you're a younger Raptors fan and you don't know much about our history. There were some good questions today on the trivia. Yeah. Stargate saying, Lex, have you heard the wrestlers tell stories about Ming? Oh, of course. Yeah, Ming's a very interesting wrestler in himself. Haku, Prince Tonga. Yeah, I mean, I've watched Haku since the very beginning of his career with the Islanders and before, like when he was like a face. You know, he was, of course, in New Japan wrestling as a ring. He was a ring guard, like one of the security wrestlers, the young wrestler who wasn't really wrestling on TV. But if you watch old Japan wrestling around the late 70s, early 80s, you'll see Haku as a very young man in a gear on the outside of the ring as one of the guys who comes in and like helps with stuff. But yeah, his career is amazing. And all the legends about him, a lot of them are true, whether it's like biting people's ear off and bar fights or fighting off cops, like 10 of them by himself. Yeah, that dude's a real deal Holyfield tough guy. Meng, aka Haku. Yeah, he's really, really interesting. Yeah, yeah, very, very interesting. Seymour saying, not gonna lie, when the bulldog got kidnapped, that was traumatic. When they took Matilda, yeah, the Heart Foundation, wasn't it them that took the dog? Somebody took the dog from the British Bulldogs and they were holding it hostage. And yeah, for a kid when we're younger, yeah, that could be very traumatizing. Yeah. Yeah. Kareem saying, what's your all-time favorite wrestler? Mine was Macho Man Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect. None of them because of wrestling, but their behind the scene personality. I mean, back in the day, my favorite wrestler was Brutus Beefcake. I was a really big fan of Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Cutting and strutting, baby. Yeah, cutting and strutting. Yeah, I thought he was cool. And it was really when he became the barber. But also, I liked him when he was on the Dream Team with Greg the Hammer Valentine and Luscious Johnny V was their manager. But over time, my favorite wrestler is Bret Hart and Rob Van Dam. Those are my two favorite wrestlers of all time, right there. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Most saying that Mo Pete is still hooping at his age, Lex. Well, that's good. I mean, it's good exercise. A lot of these old basketball players still pick the basketball up and shoot around. You know, that's good that he's keeping in shape. Seymour saying Ravishing Rick and the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. Okay. Those are two favorites there, too. And a cool cat saying the Van Vliet kids are Raptors fans and Canadians, so forever rep the city and team. Our chip baby, Fred Van Vliet Jr., forces his dad to watch the games. That's right. I love all that about that. Trevor saying, my first wrestling match I went to was at Madison Square Garden in 1979. I love that, Trevor. That's so cool. So you've probably seen people like Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, back in the day, superstar Billy Graham, Ken Patera kind of stuff. Yeah. Kareem saying Yokozuna dropping that ass on Jake the Snake was traumatizing. That was actually not Yokozuna that did that. That was John Tenta, the Canadian earthquake that squashed the bag full of hamburger meat and pantyhose. That's what they did. They took hamburger meat and put it in pantyhose, and they acted like that was the snake. So it had like a weight and a feel to it that would be like it's a snake in the bag. The snake wasn't in there. And Tenta did his little sit down on it and mushed it up. And then they made jokes about making it into hamburgers and like serving it to people. And like, yeah, how was that hamburger? Yeah, that was Jake's snake. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, it was Tenta that did that. It wasn't Rodney. It was John Tenta that did that. Yeah, yeah. Seymour's laughing about that. Smooth saying, as a child, Bret Hart, as a man, Roman Reigns. So your favorite wrestler now is Roman Reigns. See, I don't watch current wrestling, so I don't have any favorite. I stopped watching wrestling in 2003, and I after CM Punk and stuff like that showed, I've not watched any of it. I don't know anything about Daniel Bryan or CM Punk or any of those guys and their storylines. In some ways, I just haven't been watching. Although there's promise to maybe I will start watching again when they move to Netflix next year. We'll have to see. In some ways, I don't really want to waste my time watching wrestling at this point. My era of wrestling is amazing, and that's the territories and the golden age of WWF up until the Attitude Era. And then when Vince closed down WCW and ECW, that's when I stopped watching. When he had the monopoly, and I was like, the quality is going to go down. And honestly, I've outgrown wrestling at this point. It's kind of where I was at that point. But hey, those aren't bad picks. I've heard good things about Roman. Roman is really kind of carrying wrestling at this point for sure. Stargate saying my favorite was Don't Laugh. Brad Armstrong, most understated wrestler ever. You know, I'm not gonna laugh about that. That's actually shows a lot about your wrestling IQ and acumen. And Brad Armstrong really didn't get put on blast too much. I mean, they made him Arachno Man for a little while. He wore like a yellow and purple Spider-Man outfit, and it was a ripoff of Spider-Man. And he was wrestling like that for a little while. Brad Armstrong, because of the territory days and seeing him wrestle in Florida, he's a very, very good wrestler. And people that know. And honestly, that just shows that you know your stuff, Stargate, honestly. Kareem saying Bam Bam Bigelow was dope too. He's a big guy doing cartwheels. Yeah, one of the best agile big men ever in the history of wrestling. Yeah, he get off the top ropes like it was anything, cartwheels. Crazy, crazy, amazing athlete. Bam Bam Bigelow, another guy just like Oliver Miller, just like Charles Barkley, that weight is not stopping him from being very agile and very much a high flyer. And yeah, Bam Bam's a hero. He saved those kids out of that burning building like before he died. There was a fire and he went into a burning building and saved a bunch of kids from dying in that building. He's an absolute hero. Scott Bigelow out of New Jersey. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Seymour saying, I loved seeing Boss Man get whipped. Yeah. Yeah, that was always fun. The Boss Man was a very, very evil character for a while there, but then he became a good guy for a while. Remember? Boss Man was a good guy too. But yeah, it was always fun to see the big Boss Man, Ray Traylor, get his it turned on him. It was always good to see that. Yeah. Yeah. Trevor's saying, I saw these two guys who carry the bone around. They were deadly. I just don't remember their names. You mean the Moondogs? You're talking about Moondog Spot and Moondog Rex. They wore blue jean cutoffs and they had like a bone like that dangled next to them. They had big blonde beards and long hair. Yeah, you're talking about the Moondogs, Larry Latham, and the other one was the original Smash. I forget his name off the top of my head. But yeah, those two guys were the Moondogs. And there were multiple Moondogs all over the place, but they were the most famous ones, the ones in WWF, the ones that you would know about. That's right, yeah. Stargate saying, I also like Dr. Death as well. I wonder which one you're talking about. You're probably talking about Steve Williams, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Oklahoma Sooners, former football player. Yeah, I got to meet Dr. Death once too. I got in trouble for meeting him, but I still got to meet him. He didn't like me. He cussed me out. He told me to fuck off. So we're saying, I get it with wrestling, Lex. I felt the same way, but when I started watching again 12 months ago, wow. So you're reinvigorated with it, and you're like, this is actually worthwhile watching again. All right, I may have to do that. I will not watch AEW. AEW is just like an acrobat show. I want to watch the real deal Holyfield, and if it's WWE again, well, I may be returning. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Most saying W Stream, W Vibes, go Raptors for life. There you go, Monique. I love it. I love it. Kareem saying, when my older brother told me it was fake, I immediately lost interest. But damn, the storylines were absolute classics. That's the thing. The most important thing for wrestling is to keep consistent storylines from week to week. And that's where they screwed up with WCW. They couldn't keep the storylines going for a long period of time. They change it up every single week, and it was confusing. You couldn't follow anything. And it really was a big, huge reason why WCW had a demise. In some ways, if they could just have kept their storylines consistent from week to week, oh my gosh, they could have competed still with the WWF in the Attitude Era. But yeah, that was a big, big problem. In some ways, that's what's turned me off from wrestling. Is like, why invest in the storylines when they're not even going to invest in them? Seriously, go and switch them up left and right. That's right. Randolph saying Hulk Hogan was my favorite until he showed up at the GOP convention and embarrassed himself. I saw him at the Montreal Forum. Yeah, Hogan's an idiot. I mean, in some ways, look, Hulk Hogan is a different person than Terry Bollea. Hulk Hogan is a icon. He is a history of wrestling, important like icon. And everything he did for the kids, say your prayers and vitamins and all that kind of stuff is Hulk Hogan. But Terry Bollea, a person, is very flawed, kind of idiot, honestly, to be honest. He's very far right. He's QAnon, he's MAGA. And if you go to his surf shop in Florida, he has this crazy guy named Ron that runs it. And while they're in the store, he's often trying to indoctrinate their customers into MAGA. Like, that's one of the things. If you go to the Hulk Hogan surf shop down in Lake Clearwater Beach or something like that, this guy Ron will try and start like indoctrinating you to believe that Trump is the almighty great and stuff like this. It's crazy. It's really bad. And Hogan, yeah, I'm disappointed in him for showing up like that. But like Terry Crews said, this is just like the movie he made called Idiocracy. And Hector Camacho, the president that Terry Crews played in that movie, Idiocracy, well, he said the Hulk Hogan showing up at that RNC convention is just like that. It's like the real life thing of it happening. You know, these wrestlers, some of them are idiots. They take a lot of hits to the head. And of course, we know Hulk Hogan has that racist phone call that got recorded and released in the mid 2010s where he was saying the N-word very liberally and in very, very ugly, ugly ways. So, you know, when somebody shows their true colors, believe them, is what I would say about Terry Bollea. But you can have Hulk Hogan and separate him from the very, very flawed idiot that Terry Bollea is. How about that? Yeah. And that wasn't Hulk Hogan that was at the RNC. That was Terry Bollea. But Trump's going to try and make it look like Hulk Hogan supports him. Yeah. Yeah. Steve Williams is who you met. I knew that's who you met. Seymour saying, I don't know how they didn't break 1, 2, 3 Kid in half. Well, Sean Waltman's a very tough guy. In some ways, yeah, he was too skinny and didn't look right in the ring. In some ways, the fans rejected him at different times for not looking like a wrestler. Well, he'd fit in real nice with the crop of wrestlers they got on AEW now. He'd actually be one of the bigger guys, honestly. All right, let's see. What else do I have to talk about this morning, guys? Real quick. Always check out the Kensington Variety VIP Club episodes. They're 5 years to the date. They're going to be going until next fall, guys. Capturing what's happened around the Raptors. We're going to be covering the bubble season very soon. So you're going to see in-depth coverage of Lex covering the bubble season the year after Kawhi left in our championship. And you can see what I was saying 5 years ago, my Raptor Freak analysis during that period of time, right up to the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, and then even the bubble playoffs. Very extensive coverage on the Kensington Variety VIP Club. So definitely check that out, guys. We got a couple birthdays today. First of all, current Raptor and just recently acquired to the Raptors, Jared Rhoden. It's his birthday today. He's 25 today, guys. So happy birthday to Jared Rhoden. He's one of our invitees to our training camp. We'll have to see if he makes the team or if he's going to be on 905 this year. We're not totally sure. Also, happy birthday to great Raptors alumni, Reggie Slater. You guys remember Reggie Slater? Reggie Slater is 54 today, guys. So happy 54th birthday to Reggie Slater, former Toronto Raptor from the early days, the prehistoric days. That's right, Reggie Slater. Y'all remember Reggie? Reggie Slater? Slater was good. He was a good power forward, and he held it down for us in certain ways during that time. There you go. Most saying, Lex, I thought the Hall of Fame inductee was this summer for VC. Remind me, please. And Stargate saying we could talk wrestling all day. Well, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do a 24-hour wrestling marathon talk. Yeah. Vince is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. They announced it this summer. They'll have the official event some point during the season. They have to announce all the people that are coming in ahead of time. It's like different stages of this, Monique. So yeah, Vince has got announced this summer. They haven't actually done the ceremony yet. So that'll come up, and all the people that are getting inducted with them will all be there, and they'll do the speeches and everything like that. So yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, they only announce it during the summer. They have an actual Naismith Awards Hall of Fame ceremony later on, and that'll be televised, and we'll see all that. And they'll have people come up and do speeches about each of the inductees. So we'll have to see who talks about talks about Vince. I think it might be Tracy. We'll see if Tracy McGrady's the guy who's coming up to talk about his cousin for his induction. Yeah, Trevor's saying, send you a message on Facebook. Check it out and let me know. All right. You want me to look at it right now? Let me just see. What are you sending me, Trevor? I don't know where it is. I don't know where you sent it. I don't see it. All right. Anyway, let me keep going. Infamous saying there's going to be a special place in hell for Vince McMahon. Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't say that about our guy. Oh, there's no classic card? We're going to do that right now. I'm glad you said that, Smooth. We're going to do a classic card right now. We still got time. There's still 12 minutes before 2 hours is up. Let me make sure I get a card that I haven't really done yet. Who is that? I don't even know who that is. Oh, wow. That may be too hard. Let me not do that one today since we're kind of running out of time. But that's going to be a good one for another time. Oh, that's an interesting card. There's a weird background on this one too. All right, let's see if you guys will get this one. This one may be a little tough. All right, first person to write in the full name will get card points. I don't know if David's still here. Hopefully he is. And you guys can tell me who this is. Who is this guy? Who's this guy? And you can see the team name. Don't Google it. I'll give you clues. If you can't get it, I'll give you clues to get to the name. So, yeah, if you guys know who the name is, please write it in. See, I'm going to get it up close so you guys can really see him. And because in some ways, this is not an easy one. And in some ways, you need to see his face to figure out who it is. But yeah, I'm glad you reminded me, Smooth. I was going to forget, honestly. Yeah. Any guesses so far, guys? Who do you think that is? Is that too hard? Too not known enough? Maybe I could give one clue. His initials are JJ. I guess that's a pretty good clue right there. That gives you a good start to go on it. His initials are JJ. Yeah, let's see if you guys can get it. Who is that? Who's that? He's staring right at you. He's like disgusted with y'all because y'all don't know who he is. You don't know who I am? I'll tell you who I am in a second. If you don't know who I am, you better find out real quick. What's this authentic card? It's got a really weird border. It's like got a frame on it and it's kind of ridged. Yeah, he's a 2000s player. That's right. He is 2000s. So he's kind of out of Smooth's 90s realm, but he could still be possibly figured out here. What do you guys think, man? I gave you his initials, JJ. Let me think of another good clue. His first name is very similar to one of Michael Jackson's brothers' names, but it's not exactly that. It is one letter off. But his first name is very similar to one of Michael Jackson's brothers' names. So the singer, Michael Jackson. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. His initials are JJ. And his first name is just one letter off from, well, kind of a couple letters off of one of Michael's famous brothers from the Jacksons. So that should help you. And then the last name is the name of the street I used to live on in downtown Toronto. I don't know if you know where I lived in Toronto. The last place I lived in Toronto just now, before I moved out here, you'll know the name of the street that I was living on in downtown Toronto. I didn't really actually tell you guys that, so that may not be a good clue. So let's see. The first name is almost the same name as one of Michael Jackson's brothers, except a couple letters off. And his last name's the same name as the road I used to live on before I moved out here. And also, his initials are JJ. So that's pretty good clues, guys. No guesses at all. I'm shocked, y'all. You're not even taking a stab at it. I want to see if y'all get this. This may be a classic card that is stumping y'all. You're stumped, Stargate? I mean, y'all aren't remembering this guy, obviously. He is somewhat familiar. I could maybe make the guess not knowing who this guy is myself, because I do remember this guy playing, and I do kind of remember his name and stuff. So you're stumped, Stargate. All right, maybe I should show the back. I'll show the back and see if the back picture is any better. But I don't know if it will be. I mean, who is that? His initials are JJ. His first name is almost the same as Michael's brother in the Jacksons. It starts with J. And his last name is the same as the street I used to live on in downtown Toronto. In Leslieville. That's right. In Leslieville, Ontario, Toronto, Canada. Oh my gosh, guys. This is really bad. In some ways, you know what? If David's not here, whoever finally gets this is going to get like 500 points because this is so hard. And y'all aren't Googling or anything. It's hard for you to get it off the top of your head. There we go. Isaac got it. He spelled it wrong the first time. Jermaine is the name of Michael's brother, but it's Jumaine Jones. That's right. Jumaine Jones. of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Isaac Campbell, I'm going to give you 300 points, unless David's here. David, are you here? If you're here, you can give the points. If not, I'm going to give them to Isaac for 300. For Jermaine Jones, that was tough, man. Look at that. They made it like a seat ticket. It's got like the aisle and the row and the seat number. And this is like ridged. Like it's weird. It's like you can feel the frame around it. It's very textile. You can feel it. Yeah. You had a vague recollection of him. He did play in the rotation for the Cavs for a couple years. It wasn't like he was a no-name that just came in for a cup of coffee. He did actually play in their rotation for a little while. It was right around when LeBron came in the league too. He was playing with LeBron in the beginning, I believe. So yeah, Jermaine Jones, Isaac Campbell, I'm going to declare you a 300 points for that one because that was pulling teeth. Honestly, 300 points for Isaac on that one. All right, let me see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Fantasy WNBA has started off. I have a lead on Fiercey after the first night, 128-65. James is losing by 5 to the champion Meredith right now. David is losing to Morgan by 12. It looks like Kareem's got a 10-point lead on Cool Cat to start. And Reese's Nieces in the consolation bracket is beating down Edmond in a game that doesn't matter. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, all right, let's finish things up. Thanks for playing trivia with me today, guys. We're going to get done in time before two hours. Yeah, you remember now, Stargate? Jermaine Jones. That's right. It's Jermaine Jones. That's right. Good job, guys, on the trivia today, and good job on the classic card just now. I appreciate everybody watching today. I'll be back tomorrow for Wow Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. in the morning. I'll be back. And, yeah, what fun. We learned something today. Learn something, and y'all will learn more if you go get Alex Wong's Prehistoric book. It's a fantastic book, highly recommended. There's so many little details and stories about our original Raptors team and the first players that played for our team. And I don't want to tell all the stories on this channel. You need to buy the book so you can find out all the great nuggets and stories of stuff like whose dogs mated with whose dogs, right? You want to know that? Whose dogs mated with whose dog? That's a weird one, Lex. Don't you want to know about the AC Earl fart story? Of course you do. And that's why you got to get Prehistoric. It's a fantastic book that every Raptors fan should own. That's what I'll say right there. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back tomorrow. Join the channel if you want. You get access to our Facebook group, our Facebook chat, and our breaking news all the time. Yeah. I hope y'all learned something once again on Tuesday Trivia. That's why we do this. Is we're trying to teach y'all something. And did you know Dennis Rodman was the original target to be the cornerstone of the Raptors franchise? That if the Spurs had not protected him in that expansion draft, that's who we were going to go get and build the whole team around. The worm, Dennis Rodman. That would have been awesome. Honestly, it'd been cool if Dennis had been our original Raptor beginning guy from the very beginning. Instead of picking BJ Armstrong, we picked Dennis Rodman to be our first pick in the expansion draft. Ooh. What a history that would have been. That would have been very interesting alternate universe, wouldn't it have? Yeah, it would. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. I'll be back tomorrow in about 22 hours. 22 hours from now, I'll be back. Let's go.